The article was called Why Companies May Not Speak Out About the Future of Roe v. Wade. I think there's a lot to dive into.
Yeah, this is one of those topics where, it's easy for an executive to talk about, hey, here's what we're going to do if there's a snow day, or here's what
Mhm,
we're going to do if there's COVID,
mhm,
or here's what we're going to do if there's a holiday and we, are either going to leave early before the holiday or
mhm,
not. But with something as profoundly important as Roe v. Wade, it's something that executives may want to shy away from because they don't know the right thing to say or the right
mhm,
way to navigate it. But that only stands to hinder your team's not respect, but their outlook of maybe you as a leader or the thoughts and beliefs and values of the organization. And it's tough, right? Because on one end, you want to have diversity of thought, diversity of perspective, diversity of goals and beliefs about anything at work. But then at the
mhm.
same time, some things are so important where you just need to do a town hall or issue a video or issue a meeting where you talk about it. And I think that Roe v. Wade is important just to set, or the potential reversal of Roe v. Wade is important just to set a few parameters around it. One, I think politically, it's a big issue. I think that folks are motivated to vote for candidates who are on their side of the decision. Um, the other is from a healthcare standpoint, and what are the potential implications that it might have on your ability to offer healthcare and maternal and maternity benefits, and how that might shake out. And then the other is gray area of retention and engagement, where you either say the right thing or don't say anything or say the wrong thing, and it's tough to know how your team is going to react to it. And so it's very important for us as leaders in the business community and people leaders to pay attention to this and know how we're going to react and respond as this comes.
You said it well, Joey. And in this article that I've referenced, it was really interesting to me that when it comes to topics such as like Russia's invasion of Ukraine, climate change, or even perhaps the murder of George Floyd, many companies took a stand. And maybe that was because they were pressured by their customers, they thought it was the right thing to do, or they were pressured by public opinion. And this article talks about that exactly, and really just kind of poses the question, well, why are so many quiet on this topic? And I don't want to cover the entire article in its, in this episode. I want to encourage our listeners to actually go out and read it, because there's a lot of great links in here where it talks about that, kind of the number one reason that companies may have been quiet on this topic is because they're afraid of the backlash. And that's just due to, when you think about the other topics that I mentioned, I think there's just an overwhelming support in terms of the majority of Americans not wanting to overturn Roe. So, to that end, when Texas passed the SB 8 law, over 50 large, very well known companies actually endorsed an open letter. And you can go out to this article and click on the links and see all of those companies. And I think, really the message that they're trying to say, aside from, the message of restrictions on reproductive care being bad for business and the state's economy. When I hear bad for business, I'm not thinking just dollars. I'm thinking, bad for their employees, bad for their wellness and for their health. And so when I saw the list of names on this company, I was kind of taken aback because they're very well-known companies, and they were very quick to say, this is our position, and we're willing to make it known. And I encourage other companies and or small businesses who are perhaps trying to make that decision whether they can do the same, just to go out and look at how some of these companies are tackling this tough topic, and perhaps use it as a guide for deciding the direction that they're going to take their own position and communication.
Yeah, I think it's good to have a blueprint for companies and how they're attacking it and how you can navigate it as a smaller business. I think one challenge that might be unique to small business is that it's easier for PR backlash to negatively impact your brand than maybe for a larger business. So, like, give me a name. Do you have any of the names that are on the list?
I do. There's actually 52 companies, and I'll just ramble off a few that caught my eye. One was Patagonia, a Lush Fresh Handmade Cosmetics, Asana. We've got the Body Shop. You've got companies in a variety of industries, Burton Snowboards. Really, the list goes on and on. But when I read that, I was like, wow, they are they're fully committed to their position. And if you go out and read some of the linked articles from this initial one that we're discussing today, it's just really thought provoking. And I think leaders, if they haven't really spent the time preparing for, as you said, kind of creating that blueprint, now is the time, because if things happen that require a prompt response, the last thing you want to do is make a decision in like a moment of crises. Because we all know that that's not necessarily the environment that best decisions are made.
Agreed. And I think that as you were reading some of those names, I thought to myself, one, they're almost too big for there to be any sort of backlash that could significantly hurt their bottom line. But the other thing that I was thinking too is that that's an on-brand decision to be a part of that letter. And I follow up that comment by saying, one of the biggest ways that you can decide where your company lands on this issue, if you're going to take a stance at all, is the are your values, your corporate values and how you wish to be known, how you make decisions, what you value, what you cherish, what you prioritize. And I was talking to an organization. Well, we were talking to an organization a few days ago, and I was asking them, well, do you have a list of values that help you inform your decision making? And they had to sit back for a little bit, and they said, well, I think it's informal. We have some, unwritten code, but we don't have it written in stone where it's circulated to the team, where our customers know what they are. And that really, if you don't have that, it's more difficult to arrive at a place of where you stand on certain issues. So if there's any takeaway from our conversation on this, and I'm sure there'll be more because we've got more time to talk about it, is go back to your values, or start delivering and creating values, so that can help you inform your decision making about these. It's something to loop in your HR team. It's something, or us, it's something to loop in marketing, public relations if you have it, or a public relations advisor, and possibly legal as well, because these are big topics to tackle. And to your point, Summer, you don't want to be backed up against the wall in a crisis situation to come to a position and you haven't thought about and had time and space to think about the implications of that. So,
Mhm.
yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking as a takeaway.